The smell hit me first. Salt, rot, a faint whiff of gasoline. The kind of smell that sinks into your clothes and your thoughts. I'd barely stepped off the bus when I found the body, or what was left of it. A severed head bobbing gently in the Chesapeake surf, caught between driftwood and fishing lines. At first, I thought it was a mannequin. The skin was pale, bloated, stripped in patches where fish had fed. But the eyes, Christ, the eyes, bulging, bloodshot, and smiling, like death had told it a secret. I lit a cigarette with trembling fingers, the match hissing against the coastal breeze. The taste of tobacco couldn't cover the iron in the air. The local PD arrived 10 minutes later, tires crunching on gravel. The chief stepped out first, tall, salt-haired, mustache stained from years of coffee and suspicion. He walked like a man with too many buried things under his jurisdiction. "You Dorian?" "Chicago," I said. "I'm tracking a cult. Thought they might have crossed state lines." He didn't laugh, just squinted at the head. "That your guy?" "No, but I think he saw the same thing mine did." I knelt, studying the expression. The madness wasn't random. It was etched into every line of his face, like he'd witnessed something too big for his brain to hold. I stood and looked at the chief. "You ever hear of Cthulhu?" The name hung in the air like smoke. His jaw flexed. Then he looked away. "There's rumors," he said. "Some kind of cult. Kids whisper about it. Say they paint strange graffiti under the bridges, symbols, names, tentacle things. Do you believe them? I believe they're afraid." That night, I walked the waterfront alone. The moon hung low and yellow, like an old bulb in a dirty kitchen. Fog clung to the ground, rising in slow spirals that curled around my ankles as I moved. I passed under bridges, streaked with grime and moss. Then I saw it. Graffiti. A spiral with too many arms. A shape like an eye cracking open underwater. The paint was still wet, thick and tar-like, with an oily sheen that shimmered faintly, even in the dark. Something about it pulsed, not with light, but with intent. That's when I heard the footsteps. Soft, rhythmic. I ducked behind a piling and watched. 7 figures in robes, their steps silent, heads bowed. The only sound was the distant lapping of waves and the squeak of rats slipping into shadow. They entered a tunnel beneath the bridge, carved stone, moss-covered, older than the infrastructure around it. Looked more like a wound than an entrance. I followed, because by then, the madness had already started to feel like purpose. Inside the tunnel, the air thickened. The stench was unbearable. Wet decay, chemical rot, something like copper and meat left too long in the sun. My boots squelched through something I didn't want to name. The walls were slick, breathing. Every echo sounded wrong, slower, heavier, like time didn't work right down there. That's when the chanting started. Low, bubbling, guttural syllables that scratched the inside of my skull. The kind of sounds you don't hear, you remember. I pressed forward, hand trembling over my revolver. My eyes watered from the stench. My throat clenched around bile. I was ready to turn back. Then it came. Another vision. I didn't fall asleep. I didn't blink. But I was there again, drowned in stars, drifting between galaxies carved from bone and ruin, and rising in the dark, impossibly vast, was him. Cthulhu. His eyes opened, the world bent around them. I heard no words, but I understood. Forward. When I came to, I was in a vast chamber, deep beneath the earth. The smell was worse here, like mildew fed on corpses. The walls were covered in carvings, tentacles, eyes, suns that wept black blood. Green flames burned in stone basins, casting shadows that didn't match the bodies around them. 7 cultists stood in a circle, chanting, and on a slab in the center was a girl, young, gagged, terrified. She thrashed against rusted chains, tears mixing with blood on her cheek. The chant rose to a shriek. I stepped forward. Then everything exploded into blackness. A sharp crack at the base of my skull. The last thing I saw as I fell was her eyes locking with mine, and they looked just like the severed head from earlier, mad, silent, and certain.